Angular metadata. In this lecture, we'll talk about metadata in the Angular framework. Take a look at this piece of code. This is a plain TypeScript class, which can be used by any other JavaScript framework, such as Vue, React, Aurelia, and many others. So, how do we make this class an Angular component? Well, simple, by just adding the right metadata. By definition, a metadata is a set of data that describes and gives information about other data, or in short, it provides insight about another data. In here, metadata tells the Angular framework on how to process a TypeScript class by using decorators or annotation. These decorators or metadata starts with an @ sign and contains various data in a JSON format. So, going back to our example, a plain TypeScript class such as this app_component class can become an Angular component by simply adding the @component decorator. At first, you have to import the necessary modules and then add the metadata. And then there you have it, a full-fledged Angular component. The component decorator also provides additional metadata properties that determines how the component should be processed, instantiated, and used at runtime. A component have a lot of metadata properties such as selector, template, template URL, styles, styles URL, animation, inputs, outputs, queries, and many others, just as shown here. One important property is the selector, because this property is required for every Angular component. The template and template URL properties are mainly used for the HTML code of the component. The styles and styles URL are used for the cascading style sheets of the component. You can view all of this information about other metadata properties using your IDE or through the Angular documentation. Now that we're done with components, how about if you want to create a new directive or a new pipe or a new service? What metadata should you use? Well, for Angular directives, you can use the @directive operator. For pipes, you can use the @pipe. For input data binding, you can use @input. For output data binding, you can use @output, and so on and so forth. Just remember that there is no @service decorator for Angular services. You have to use the @injectable decorator for services instead. In summary, metadata tells the Angular framework on how to process a TypeScript class by using decorators or annotations. Decorators starts with an @ sign and contains various data, which is also called metadata properties, in the JSON format. You have to import the necessary module first before you can add the metadata to the class. There are a lot of metadata that you can use, such as @directive, @component, @input, @output, and many others. But just remember that there's no @service decorator, and you have to use the @injectable for Angular services instead.